your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A huge Confederate monument right in the heart of downtown Augusta. There's a new push to have it removed, but it's not that simple. Plus, local doctors say a common vaccine could help treat people with COVID-19. We look at the research going on right now behind that. But first this evening, teachers in Aiken County are protesting right now ahead of tonight's school board meeting. This is a live look just outside the Aiken County Board of Ed building. The board says Governor McMaster's comments about having a 5-day-a-week option will be the main point of discussion tonight. But these teachers say they want the hybrid schedule, the one the district originally approved last week. They're not ready to go back 5 days a week in the classroom, not yet. The school board approved that plan last Tuesday, but a day later the governor made his comments about having a 5-day plan. Celeste Springer tells us what's on the table tonight.
Aiken County schools thought they were in the clear after they passed their back-to-school plans last week, but tonight they are back at work in response to Governor McMaster requesting that schools offer 5 days a week traditional schooling.
Parents need to have a choice. They need to say to their districts whether they want to go, their children to go in class 5 days a week, or whether they want a virtual education.
That comment has the Aiken County School Board reviewing their latest plan. They offered elementary school students a traditional 5-day-a-week schedule, like McMaster would hope, but there's an issue in their original plan. Middle and high schoolers' return to school depends on the spread of the virus.
Just kind of up in the air in terms of, are our kids safe? Is it safe for them to go back to school? And I think that a lot of parents are kind of in that same boat too.
The school board isn't the only group of people with decisions to make. Parents still need to decide if they'll opt for online learning for their kids.
I think parents are just really confused on what to do right now, or they just want to do what's best for their child.
And that's what State Superintendent Molly Spearman's office says she wants as well. Her team will only approve district plans that keep student safety number one.
But what I want is what's best for the people that teach my child, but I also want what's best for the children as well.
We reached out to Aiken County Schools today about what we can expect to see at today's meeting. They say that the main point of concern is Governor McMaster's comments. It'll be a lot to unpack at the meeting tonight, especially since parents only have 1 day to decide if they're going fully virtual. Celeste Springer, on your side.
Meanwhile, another local district is pushing back the start of school. Students in McDuffie County now won't go back until the 17th of August, and that's 2 weeks later than scheduled. But the district officials say they may have to consider starting the year with a hybrid schedule or maybe completely virtual based on the spread of the virus. They said they'll make that call later on. We'll let you know what they do. Right now, Edgefield County also talking about their back-to-school plans. It involves a hybrid schedule similar to Aiken County, with kids spending 2 days a week in a classroom, 3 days learning from home. Their meeting is just getting started. We're going to let you know what they decide as well. A number of big topics being discussed right now in Augusta Commission chambers tonight, from masks to here are the ones in and around the river region this week. There's one happening in Greenwood County tomorrow, and then again on Thursday. There's also one Thursday in Aiken at Citizens Park there. We have this information and a list of other testing sites right now up on our website. NSA whistleblower Reality Winner reportedly testing positive for COVID-19. This is what her mother and sister tweeted today. We're working to confirm this ourselves, but we know she's being held at the FMC Carswell. That's an all-women's prison in Fort Worth. That prison has had more than 500 inmates testing positive. 2 of them have died. Only 3 have recovered. Reality Winner's family and lawyer have been fighting to get her released, saying she is medically vulnerable. Winner has served about 37 of her 63-month sentence. That's about 2 years and 2 months left to serve. Vice President Mike Pence stopping in Kent. The city of Aiken has already passed a mask mandate, but soon masks could be encouraged all across Aiken County. The council talking about a resolution tonight that would recommend masks across Aiken County. It would also include encouraging social distancing and avoiding large crowds. The council meeting starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Meanwhile, the city of New Ellington has just passed a mask ordinance. Starting this Friday, masks will be required in stores and restaurants there. That includes both customers and staff. Anyone not wearing a mask would face a $50 fine. More drive-through graduations today for high school seniors across Richmond County. This was the scene this afternoon at Laney High School. And one for seniors at Josie is just getting started now. Drive-through graduations will continue through Thursday. Congratulations to all of these seniors in the class of 2020. We know it's not how you imagined this would go, but you deserve this recognition.
Big update out in the tropics over the last 24 hours. Give you an update on Tropical Depression 7 and a look ahead at our weekend forecast coming up.
And also, a man with a disorder left alone by first responders. Later, he was hit and killed. Our I-team shows you his story, and now his parents are looking for justice.
For your free case evaluation, call, text, chat, or go online to johnboy.com.
Paul Tarashuk would have celebrated his 28th birthday this month, but instead, his parents are pushing the federal government to hold Orangeburg County EMS and the sheriff's office there accountable for possible violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Tarashuk was hit and killed on the interstate I-95 after an Orangeburg County deputy left him alone at a closed gas station in the middle of the night. The I-team broke the story last year after obtaining this body cam video showing EMS berating and cursing at him before leaving him with that deputy. Tarashuk suffered from schizoaffective disorder. The I-team's Liz Owens explains why his parents are now pushing Congress.
They're pushing Congress because the state of South Carolina determined that Orangeburg EMS and Sheriff's Office did not commit misconduct by abandoning a mentally ill man on the side of the road. This body cam video shows Paul Tarashuk naked and disoriented on top of a tractor trailer.
You okay, man?
Tarashuk's family believes something triggered his schizoaffective disorder. He's unresponsive by the time EMS arrives with the ambulance.
You don't run up your nose and talk to me. Stop acting stupid. You're a grown man.
EMS realizes something is wrong with him.
If it's an act, it's a pretty good act.
But instead of taking him to the hospital, they leave him with a deputy. This video shows the deputy dropping Tarashuk off at a closed gas station without his shoes, wallet, or cell phone. He died 4 hours later after a car hit and killed him.
This is unreal. It's unacceptable.
Paul and Cindy Tarashuk can't accept the fact that the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division found no criminal wrongdoing in their son's death.
The state of South Carolina has chosen not to prosecute. They're not going to hold anybody accountable on false death.
The I-team obtained this letter from South Carolina Solicitor David Pascoe. He considers the investigation into Paul's death as closed, stating none of the conduct presented in this matter rises to the level of criminal misconduct in office.
They sent a clear message to EMS and law enforcement, telling them that they can take somebody who they feel has a mental illness, as they do say in the body cam, and they can mistreat him, they can assault him, they can abandon him, barely clothed, with no means to advocate for himself, in the middle of the night during a hurricane.
1 in 5 Americans experience mental illness every year. A person with untreated mental illness is 16 times more likely to die in an encounter with police than other citizens approached. COVID-19 has created the perfect storm, too. The CDC issued a warning about an increase in mental illness during the pandemic. Meanwhile, massive budget cuts to mental health services in Georgia went into effect just this month.
I don't know how this is okay. We need to bring awareness to this and we need to change it.
Congressman Tom Bilowski is pushing for change. He requests the FBI to investigate Paul's death to determine whether Orangeburg County violated his rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act. He sent this letter to U.S. Attorney Bill Barr in March, just before COVID shut down the country.
If they're not held accountable when they do this, it's just going to open it up to disregard more people
during a time when people need help more than ever. The Tarashuks have filed a civil lawsuit against the Sheriff's Office and EMS, but it's slow moving right now because of COVID-19. Liz Owens, on your side.
Thank you for that, Liz. To weather now, and Riley, we've had another hot, humid afternoon and even some storms to talk about.
Yeah, those storms were overproducing for us, Richard. We actually did have a couple of severe warning cells, and if you did see any damage or anything like that, we'd love to see pictures of it so we can send it off to the National Weather Service, get that verified for you, so if you do need to make an insurance claim. But a nice look over the Savannah River. We actually are looking at a couple of kayakers here, and there was actually a boat that had an outboard that was coming across the river. Kind of surprising, but I guess associated with that construction work. We have cooled off now. We hit a high of 97 earlier today. We're sitting at 90 now that we've seen some storms kind of pass on through, and it is very easy to see the communities that have seen rain out there today. If you haven't, you're still in the mid-90s, especially in the southern CSRA. In the northern areas of our region, though, not too bad. Actually feeling like the 70s already in Wilkes County. 74 for a low tonight. The storms we're currently looking at shouldn't last too much longer over the last couple of hours. After sunset, we're looking completely dry. Tomorrow afternoon is going to be hot for us again. We hit 97 this afternoon. Likely going to do the same thing again on Wednesday. Storm chance is not expected to be as high for us Wednesday, though. We hit 97 today. We are expecting generally mid-90s for most of us. Augusta should be the hot spot out there tomorrow. Here's a current look at our radar. Once again, just some isolated pockets of downpours in our southern counties, but just some lingering light showers in the far northern fringes of the CSRA. The rest of us looking fairly dry the rest of this evening. And here's a look at the rain totals estimated by radar. You can see wherever that color is, that's where rain fell today. So it was mainly along that I-20 corridor and north of that. If you were south of Augusta, you didn't see too much out there. But Wilkes County winning today as far as who saw the most rain. They've likely seen anywhere from 1 to possibly even 2 inches with storms this afternoon. But the storms we've been tracking, not expected to last past sunset and looking completely dry after midnight. A quick update on the tropics. We have Tropical Depression 7. This is fairly impressive. We're actually already up to this early in the season. It is continuing towards the west and northwest, and you can see it's definitely looking a little bit more organized out there this afternoon. And this is expected to continue to develop, likely will become a tropical storm over the next 24, 48 hours as it heads towards the Caribbean. It is not expected to be inside the Caribbean until we get to later this weekend, so between Saturday and Sunday, we will continue to keep an eye on it over the next several days. Now, our storm chances are going to be going up as we head later in the work week, especially by Friday into the weekend. And those high temperatures not going to budge, staying in the mid-90s the next 7 days.
Yeah, 90s week right there, Riley. Thanks. The schedule is set for high school football in Georgia and South Carolina, but coaches, they're still concerned about safety and protocol. Mike breaks it down for us next in sports.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Now that we know what the high school football season in the CSRA will look like, at least from a scheduling standpoint, there's still questions that go beyond just the whens and the wheres. Scheduling is one thing, protocols are another. Right now, we just know what the schedule is, but programs don't know what to do in the event of a positive case or facing an opponent that's seen a positive case.
Safety is the key thing, and I think if we actually, they actually look at how that works for all that are involved, and we can work it to where it is safe, I'm all in for it. But if the safety part is not a protocol that's really intact and in place, I'm just a little concerned for me.
Those protocols will hopefully be established soon. This hasn't been a normal off-season, and that's another concern for coaches.
I'm fine with it. I understand the dynamics that we've got to deal with. The biggest thing for me, I think more than the virus itself, and I know it's done a lot for us, it's just getting the kids acclimated to the heat.
The next issue that gets run into is two-sport athletes. For a team that makes a run to the state title game in football and also plays a winter sport, they won't be able to pick up that next sport until 2021. That could really hurt some programs.
Just incorporating everybody's level, not just from the bigger schools who don't need as many kids playing 2 sports. And you got those smaller schools that, really, really rely on it.
Starting practice wasn't pushed back, and pads can be worn starting August 1st. Camp is one of the hardest parts of football, but it's still part of having a season. More sports coming up later tonight. See you in just a little bit.
Contrary to what the